In a world where trivia games are played on a podcast, one man reigns supreme and chooses the movie, while the loser must face his punishment episode.
Oh God! Oh Jesus Christ!
This is Punishment Spoilers.
How does it work, Mr. Subway Sandwich? Just tell me more.
Just Jared's fine.
Call you Jared? Okay, sure. Just 10 sandwiches a day. To me, that seems too much, almost like a job. I couldn't do that.
I don't need that many.
No? Okay. Here's the situation. You're here. There's not a Subway in sight. You're at a steakhouse like this. What do you eat?
I eat other things.
Oh, you do? You do? I knew you were cheating. That's why there's so much goo left on you. I miss the old Jared, the 400-pound Jared that scared us.
I don't miss that one at all.
Well, I'm sure you don't, but if he was around, he'd be with me and not with the two hookers.
There's a plethora of cameos in Jack and Jill, but we get a rare occurrence from the sandwich bastard himself, Jared Fogle. This is Spoilers. Hello.
Pride of Bloomington, Indiana.
Yeah.
Wait, Jared's from Indiana?
Hey, Bloomington, yeah.
Unfortunately.
He went to school at IU.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so I happened to lose Josh's horrendous trivia game that took 7 fucking episodes to complete, and in the end wasn't even totally accurate, so I was cursed with having to host this punishment episode of Jack and Jill, which was chosen by Stevie. Why don't you introduce yourself? We'll start with you, and we'll work our way. After that, we'll go west to east after Stevie, because he chose this movie. Did you watch the movie, and who was your favorite cameo?
Okay, so I did watch the movie, because I like to honor, if I'm going to pick a punishment movie, I like to watch it. Same like I did with Antichrist. It was horrifying to watch, but you gotta love the K Jewelers commercial at the beginning. But my favorite cameo in this, oh boy, man, oh man. I can't say Al Pacino because he's like actually one of the stars.
He's a big part.
Man, was a skinny Bill Romanowski in this movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say him. Just because of how unrecognizable he looked.
For like 20 seconds during the birthday scene or whatever.
Yeah, that.
He had a couple different scenes, but yeah.
Yeah, I'd say Bill Romanowski.
Corey?
What's my name? Dunkachino. Dunkachino. Simi Valley, California. Corey here. None of the cameos are great or good, but I guess Johnny Depp, he's wearing a Justin Bieber
that is a good
shirt.
one.
Yeah,
And it's not funny, but I get it, you know?
I liked his cameo. I think that was probably one of my favorite ones. Pap?
Yeah, this is Pappy, coming from Louisville, Colorado. I almost took the ring from Stevie, but an impressive feat by him to two-peat, and almost an even more impressive feat by you, Mikey, to double column. We'll have to see.
Well, that's what happens when Josh does trivia, so it's just inaccurate every time.
We should have stopped the count when I was the ring bearer. That's a bunch of fraudulent points came in after that. But my favorite cameo by far was Dan Patrick. He's probably one of my favorite broadcasters of all time. I've listened to so much Dan Patrick. But I'll also say, funny Jared Fogle story. Years before he was arrested, I had a friend who worked at that Subway, and he told me a story that the reason Jared got so skinny, because he lived above a Subway, and that was like Jared's Subway. But the reason he got so skinny is he was stalking a girl across campus who worked at a different Subway. So he would walk across campus. And this is years before he got caught with all that CP. So, where there's smoke, there's fire sometimes.
When you say girl, do you mean...
I understood it to be a Subway employee from the story at the time.
Okay, so 16 plus. Okay.
You know,
Damn, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, this is like 2009. Like when I heard this story, I was like, that's fucking crazy. Like
to add more fuel to that fire, I literally lived like 2 houses down from that Subway, the one that he used. Yeah,
Nasty
and right
Subway.
across the street from my apartment was like a preschool.
Oh man.
So maybe it was a child. Who's to say? He's in jail now, so he's a piece of shit. Who's next? Josh?
This is Josh from Goshen, Indiana. I have Jared Fogle stuff too. My brother-in-law used to work at that Subway, the Jared Subway in Bloomington. And the rumor when I was on campus at IU, probably 5 or 6 years before he pled guilty, is that he was known for carrying a binder full of DVDs of porn to sell to students. And because it was pre X videos or whatever. So
what a cool guy.
yeah, but apparently even with his success, he kept going down that rabbit hole. Anyway, back to Jack and Jill. My favorite cameo, I'll just give it to Tim Meadows because he had to feel so terrible that he asks if they're fraternal or identical twins, and it's a girl and a boy. It's just the worst question. Am I right, Brett?
Yeah. It's kind of an easy joke, I guess. And they didn't even follow through with it.
No, it just makes Tim Meadows look like an idiot.
Yeah.
So that's my favorite cameo.
Brett?
This is Brett recording from Fort Wayne. Yeah, I did watch the movie. I'll go with Johnny Depp. I liked him. I thought he felt like easily the most natural cameo.
We'll get to that scene, but I think that's probably the hardest I laughed in the movie. Just when it zooms in on the big screen in Staples Center.
Dude, it's so funny.
Al Pacino undercover. I thought was a pretty good joke. So
it seems like they should have had Jack Nicholson, right? Because he did that movie with Adam Sandler. You'd think they're kind of like buddy or something, anger management. And he's always at a Laker game. I don't know.
There's already too many Jacks in this movie. There's only room for one.
This is also probably around the time his dementia started to hit.
Mikey, I wanted to be honest about that I did laugh during this movie. So I wrote down every time I burst out laughing, and it was 4 times, and that was one of them. I just love it. I want to keep it disguised. Don't want people to recognize.
And then the zoom in.
Yeah, it looks like it's just going to zoom in on Johnny Depp, and the camera makes a quick move to the right. Nope, all the way in on Al's face.
Yeah, I wouldn't say this is the worst attempt at a comedy movie I've ever seen. I've definitely seen worse supposed comedy movies.
Yeah, Evil Dead too.
Give it up, Brad.
Wow.
Jesus Christ.
Slant.
But yeah, find a new slant. But the movie starts with a bunch of twins who are just kind of talking through their experiences of growing up as twins. And it really has nothing to do with the rest of the movie. They don't come into play at all. But it just goes to show that twins are an abomination to nature. They all have really creepy energy. They
all definitely hooked
they've
up.
got
as
really
kids,
weird
right?
relationships. And I don't know, Pap, what did you think of this intro with all these twins?
They're acting, right? It's not like a documentary. Are those real people?
I got that it was real people.
Animatronics.
I didn't.
Some of them are actors, though, like the blonde twins, the girls.
Yeah.
Where I looked them up. They've been in other stuff. They've been in Suburbicon and other movies. So
Most of them are twins in real life, like Larry and David Sontag, for instance.
But they're acting, they're not actually talking about their real life experiences. I think Kylo's right that they're like Chuck E. Cheese animatronic twin robot type thing. That makes the most sense.
Yeah, they seem odd.
Weird energy is a good way to describe it.
It reminded me of being a kid and watching interesting nature video or something. I actually really enjoyed and found myself glued during the intro and outro because they do this again at the end. Just this random kind of warm gray setting and 2 people. I don't know. Pappy, they do kind of set it up.
They're definitely acting.
It's as if it were a documentary.
That's what makes it so fucking stupid, though. Either have real people Or don't.
They're
Like, why?
real people.
Yeah. Because it doesn't really come into play at all later in the movie.
I think the movie thinks it's way more charming than it is
Right.
to have that.
Yeah.
That is, I mean, it's so fucking stupid. It's like, twins exist, right? Some of them are very different. Some of them are similar.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess I would say like they all like for the most part have pretty positive relationships with each other, and then like the antithesis to this is Jack and Jill don't have the greatest relationship. They don't keep in touch as much as these twins that we see in the beginning do. But they're like kind of talking about like the weird languages that they make up together and all the stuff that they did growing up. Adam Sandler movies are just covered in small montages of like fart and piss jokes, disgusting shit happening. And then there's like this little montage in the intro of just like the twins growing up together. Jack is like getting armpit hair, and then Jill walks through with
Gross.
much bushier armpit hair. She's just like a completely disgusting, vile human being, and she's kind of like always stepping on his toes in certain situations, and just kind of like, I don't know. She seems overbearing for the intro montage that we get. We fast forward to Los Angeles. We get our first look at Jack, who is an ad exec, and he's like directing a Pepto-Bismol ad. Stevie, big time Notre Dame guy here. Who is it, and what's he doing?
R.I.P. to Regis Philbin. Yeah, he's filming a Pepto-Bismol commercial, and he's angry that the prop has the funnier lines than he does. Seems like the very weird thing to be angry about, but yeah. Also, is it kind of detrimental to Adam Sandler's character to be super wealthy? Like, it's hard for me to sympathize with a guy that literally has a mansion in Los Angeles and has an annoying sister.
But 200 people are going to lose their jobs.
Yeah, he's worried about his employees.
He doesn't care. He never brings them up once outside of that.
I didn't know. It's so disingenuous.
He does it at least twice, and it's more like Pepto-Abysmal, am I right?
I don't know if you're supposed to like sympathize with him. He's almost more like Ace Ventura, where he's just on a mission. I think Jill is the
The sympathetic character.
Jill
Josh-
is Ace Ventura.
Well, the thing is, people like it's crazy. Most of the people in the movie like Jill. He's like the only one who like really can't. Well, obviously, whatever Norm Macdonald's character, Buster, or whatever his name was.
Fun Bucket?
There we go, Fun Bucket.
People like Jill as a friend. They're also disgusted by her because she is a disgusting person. But they're not like put off by her the way like Jack is put off by her. Because she's kind of, I don't know, just been like overbearing. She wants to do this twin thing all of the time. She wants to talk in this weird twin language, and Jack is like kind of trying to put that behind him and like be an adult, not do weird shit in front of other people. I don't know. She just is like really trying to force this issue and like do twin stuff, the weirdest twin stuff all the time around him.
Like cuddle.
Yeah, like come on, you're 45 years old or whatever, cuddling on a couch. It's just weird.
With a sibling, I mean, that's some shit, man.
She like cockblocks him earlier in that montage too. There's like more weird energy going on between the two.
Yeah, unrequited love, I think, is what we're supposed to take away
Some
from that.
Lannister shit is what we're supposed to take away.
But yeah, I guess that's like the inciting incident is that we get the mention of Al Pacino doing this Dunkachino ad, and Al Pacino is going to take away the ad from Sandler, who was just going to do just like a standard Dunkin' Donuts ad or something. He wasn't going to be involved in Sandler's plan for this advertisement. I don't know. This is like also an intro to one of the Sandman's buddies that's in every movie that he's in. Nick Swartzen has some funny lines here. I feel like just kind of almost shooting himself in the foot with everything he's saying about Jill, and Adam Sandler is like, you can't say that, that's anti-Semitic. and then we eventually get Jill. She ends up coming over for Thanksgiving. And Josh, how does this Thanksgiving dinner go? After she flies in to LA.
Yeah, so Jill pops in and she's just like not wasting any time laying all of her emotions out on the table and being the first one to talk about every sore subject that could possibly be brought up. She like pushes everyone to the limit, and then I think she's the one that ends up storming off at the end, which is kind of typical for her. Yeah, it's just a very like uncomfortable meet the Fockers sort of awkward energy here. Hard to watch.
Very hard to watch.
Yeah, she's got like no social skills almost.
This is where punishment movie really is literal, very punishing here.
Well, there's also a homeless man who is for some reason at this table. I think Katie Holmes's parents in the movie, I don't know, find him off the street or something and invite him to dinner for some reason. And that's another one of Adam Sandler's friends. He's in all of his movies. He's the guy from Grandma's Boy.
Alan Covert. I love Alan Covert.
Yeah, and he plays a homeless guy who shows up for a couple of scenes throughout the movie, and she just makes him feel really uncomfortable.
I was Pokey and your father was Pagogo. We had our own secret language. Ook magadodo, Pagogo.
I have no idea what those words mean, nor have I ever known what those words meant.
You do know what they mean, and you're lying right now. Ook magadodo means I love you. Bangi means thank you. Clappa means left.
Hey, do you remember what Laki Maki Coco means?
What does this mean again?
Jack, don't.
It means I can't stand you being here.
This is really awkward. I'm gonna go.
Dessert is coming.
I'm full.
He's probably the same in-universe character as the homeless guy in Happy Gilmore.
Oh, I was going to say that. Yeah.
You know, like, is this before or after Happy's success, you wonder? Did he go back to homelessness? It really makes you think.
The extended universe of that guy. There's just, I don't know, we get like more intros into Sandler's family. He's got 2 kids. Both of them are pretty weird. One of them just tape shit to his body all the time. I don't know if that has anything to do with anything, really. It's not really. There's a couple more gags throughout the movie involving that, but.
So when I look at Alan Covert on Jack and Jill, his name is Otto. And if you look at Happy Gilmore, his name in Happy Gilmore is Otto.
Oh.
So extended universe.
I'm sorry to say it, but he definitely got money and then
lost it all.
Yeah. I'm sorry to steal the Stevie question, but it's an obvious one.
Put it all on red.
Mikey, it's your punishment movie. How did you feel about Adam Sandler as Jill, the performance?
I don't know why he's doing like a Marge Simpson impression. I don't know if he's ever heard a woman talk.
I love how nice we are to this homeless man, a person we don't even know.
That's good.
She's just got like a really grating voice, and it's, I don't know. Other than that, it's just Adam Sandler in a dress. It's not really he's not really trying to be feminine in any way. There's no.
He does this thing where he pulls voices from his albums.
I just say, I think he was going for like a stereotypical Jewish woman, New York Jewish woman that he knew, like you said, used in his albums, his earlier albums and stuff like that. So probably reminds him a little bit of his mom or something, Stan and Judy or whatever her name was.
Yeah, I had his albums back in the day. That track that this voice is from was Do It For Your Mama, which was a skit where he was like playing the mom and he sounded exactly like Jill.
Do it for your mama.
But the joke in that, he's constantly telling everyone to jerk off. Like he's saying, come on, whip out your cock and balls and rub one out.
Man, I listened to that 1,000 times. You got a nice schlong. Why don't you stroke it? Yeah. So good.
All right, well, that's an edit point.
Well, I didn't write it.
Yeah. Big edit point.
Whatever. F you guys.
You
I'm
said
out.
it.
I thought you didn't cuss on the podcast, Brett. That was dirty language.
Josh?
I was wondering if you thought this would be a better movie if they just maybe ponied up for an actress and maybe use some prosthetics to make her look more like Adam Sandler. And like why does he need to be the female twin that aren't identical? That's my huge question to this movie. Like, why run with this gimmick?
Well, if you're gonna do that, why make the movie? Nobody looks like Adam Sandler, Josh. No woman looks like Adam Sandler. And God forbid her if she does.
You know, there's that like Illuminati conspiracy theory that actors that are controlled by the Illuminati, they have to dress up like a woman at some point in a movie or in a show or something.
What? Wow.
Never heard that.
Yeah. I mean, it's like some crazy conspiracy theory thing.
Has Tom Cruise done that?
He's not in Illuminati. He's in Scientology. It's a different thing.
Right. Same thing. I've never seen Jay-Z dress up as a woman, so I would fact check that, Corey.
Oh, it's a
Jay-Z
conspiracy theory. It's not true.
Holds no water.
The top Google result for a woman who looks like Adam Sandler is a young Sarah Jessica Parker, and I must say her resemblance to Jill is quite stunning. Actually, it's remarkable.
She's a handsome woman.
I'm trying to see here. I'm looking at the IMDb. I obviously took no notes because this movie wasn't worth trying too hard for.
Good for you.
At least you watched it this time.
I watched it all of the Punishment movies.
Antichrist was iffy at best.
Okay. This whole movie is just like montages. It's all just fart piss jokes. So I mean, there's not like even really too much of a story here. We'll just go to the next montage of Jill has this list of all this shit that she wants to do while she's in LA to just annoy the shit out of Jack. And one of them is just like go on game shows. And one of them's The Price is Right. I thought this part was funny where she just knocks herself out when she's spinning the wheel.
One of the funniest parts of the whole movie.
Yeah.
Got a genuine laugh out of this guy.
She breaks the legs of a pony.
Yeah, it's just more montage bullshit. And it lasts for like 15 minutes, so the movie moves at a clip. It's only 90 minutes long. She says she's going to leave after Hanukkah. It's Thanksgiving right now. She has an open-ended ticket, so it's like she can leave whenever she wants, and she just keeps delaying it and giving Jack anxiety because he wants her gone as soon as possible. And to kind of fill that void of time there that she's going to be hanging around, Jack wants her to try online dating, and her first online date is with Norm Macdonald, who goes by what name, Stevie?
Fun Bucket.
Cum Bucket? That sounds odd.
Whoa, edit point.
Corey, how does that go? How does that date go?
Well, he does a smart thing and just walks the fuck out of there. Fun Bucket is not having fun on this date because Jill is the worst. It's so weird, man. Like, I was trying to think of like how this was written, and it's what if someone had a twin and they're just the most annoying possible person, which isn't a really fun thing to watch, and it certainly isn't funny. But Norm Macdonald does leave, and of course she's very sad about that. We do eventually find Norm Macdonald hiding in the bathroom on the ceiling or whatever, but...
One of my 4 LOLs. That reveal shot
that was one of them?
Hilarious. With him just hanging up there with the pan up.
Spider-Man.
And you know he's like kind of too old to actually be like hanging up there for very long. So I wonder how they did that practically.
There is more CGI in this movie than I expected.
They have to use CGI just to get Norm Macdonald like kind of upside down, basically.
I mean, was the date that bad, really? She's just awkward. I don't know. I think he's just more off-put by her appearance because she is horrifying to look at. She is, it is Adam Sandler with a wig on. Yeah, he's kind of a jerk. He just kind of ditches her. She comes back home all sad. Jack he's continuing to freak out about this Al Pacino Dunkachino thing. His way to make Jill feel better is to take her to a Lakers game. I don't know why he thinks that would make her feel better. She doesn't really care about the game when they get there. But Brett, how does that situation go? What happens when they meet Al Pacino?
He just goes up to him and talks to him. I don't know. I thought the popcorn joke, him calling him popcorn, was pretty funny, actually. I don't know. He's trying to be incognito, and Al Pacino just gets completely enamored by Jill, who doesn't really know who he is. That's pretty much that. I mean, it's just him kind of primally going after her because he's obsessed that she's from the Bronx or wherever they're from.
That's like his only... That's the one thing he's connected with her on, and he's like obsessed with that she's from the Bronx. He doesn't even seem like he's infatuated with her looks or anything. It's just like, she's from the Bronx. We have all of this stuff in common because we both grew up in the Bronx. And I don't know if that's a big selling point for a lot of people here on how you meet your partners in real life, but it's apparently a really big thing with Al Pacino, just to be from the same area.
She can really swing a stickball bat. That's what he's into.
Yeah. They have the same butcher or something, and he's just all about it. There's not a cameo by Kobe, but he's in the movie. Kobe, R.I.P.
It really made me happy to see that Lakers team, like that particular Lakers team. That was my shit, man. I saw Bynum and Gasol and Kobe on the court. That did make me happy.
Yeah, they were good.
And Pacino sends over like a 4-foot-long hot dog with a very elaborate message spelled out in mustard with like his phone number on it. It's just like, call me, and his phone number. And Jack sees this as an opportunity.
Delivered by Chris Farley's brother.
Oh, is it?
He's in all of Adam Sandler's movies. He's usually super creepy. Sorry. Mort the hot dog vendor, cool. John Farley.
Jack sees this as an opportunity to like get close to Pacino because he now realizes that he's got a thing for Jill, and he's going to try to exploit that to get closer to him and get this ad going.
Mikey, I imagine you didn't like this movie at all, right?
I didn't hate it. It wasn't the worst movie I've seen.
How amazing was Al Pacino in this movie, though?
I think it's amazing that he's in this movie.
Right.
He must have just been really bored.
I think he was amazing just in it. Like, talk about...
He's going for it.
He's really going for it. There's a moment after he breaks into Adam Sandler's home, which is one of the funniest parts. And he's like, how'd you get over the fence? When he's in Jill's bedroom and he kind of grabs Adam Sandler and shakes him, and he gives him these crazy eyes. Like, those are the same eyes he gave in Dog Day Afternoon. So think about it. He gave the same level of commitment to that movie
Attica!
that he did to this movie.
Attica!
Like, what an actor. What a picture.
I think the scene where he's acting in the Shakespeare play and he's on the phone was like, I thought that was hilarious.
He's just a great actor.
He does The Godfather. Yeah, he's going for it big time.
Yeah.
He's like, come on, Bruce. He's like Bruce Jenner.
That is...
He has Kurt Russell's Christmas Chronicle vibes here. Like, how many different lines did they like rip off The Godfather and just like unashamedly, I guess?
A lot during the Dunkachino commercial.
It's like, I knew it was you. Yeah, it was good.
Brett, you saw Godfather Part 2 finally?
Are you kidding me? I've seen it a bunch of times. I just like the first one a lot more.
Ah, gotcha.
How do you feel about Part 3, Brett?
It's underrated, probably. It's just bad compared. It's bad compared to the other two. I think as a standalone movie, they got screwed though. Like Tom Hagen was supposed to be a big character in that, and he like bailed, so they had to like change everything, the whole story. So no, I don't say I'm one of those. I'm just saying as a standalone movie, it's not the worst thing in the world. Just compared to 1 and 2, it's bad.
Is it better than Jack and Joe?
No.
It's
Oh, wow.
Yes, it's better, but I laughed more during this movie, that's for sure.
Let's put it this way. I'd rather watch this movie than Godfather Part 3.
That's probably true. I I'm probably with you there.
Mikey, how often were you laughing in this movie? I feel like this movie's got to get yeses. And I'm getting really cranky about it as the time draws near.
Yeah.
Well, Pap, have you ever seen Just Go With It?
I don't think so.
What a picture.
That movie is hilarious. That's another like stupid Adam Sandler movie with Jennifer Aniston. But that movie is actually funny. I think that's a couple steps underneath this movie. But I feel like the parts that I'm laughing at and Just Go With It are just as funny as the parts I'm laughing at in this movie. So,
Pap, you haven't seen it?
No, I don't like Adam Sandler.
It's Dan Patrick's biggest role. He actually has a role in that movie.
And Dave Matthews.
And Dave Matthews.
Yes to Dan Patrick, no to Dave Matthews.
Flip that for me.
They have a birthday party where it's a surprise birthday party. They go to like Morton's Steakhouse or something. And do you think Pacino's being weird? He seems like he's being nice for the most part to me. I don't know.
He gets a little touchy-feely.
With the stickball thing?
She makes her wishes pretty well known that she's not into him. And he still pursues. He says, I can smell horny across the seas. Something like that.
Yeah, later on he gets real weird. But
quick thing. Do you guys think it's unusual that he is playing himself and making himself look bad?
I think he got paid probably about $20 million for this movie, so probably not.
Sandler got $20 million for it.
Doesn't he look like he's just having fun smearing his own name, like the most fun of anyone?
He does look like he's having the most fun of anyone. You're right about that.
He gave an interview, I'm guessing it was about this movie, saying sometimes he likes being in really bad movies to see if his acting can overcome it. I'm guessing it was about this one.
He got a Razzie.
He got a Razzie for this movie?
Yeah.
So this movie, if IMDb is to be believed, swept the Razzies that year, with every category going to this movie.
I don't think he deserves that. Like, this is like when, what's his name got it for It's Pat. Or there's some other movie that happened. Like, he's one of the best parts of this movie, Al Pacino. Like, he saves the movie, and so he makes it barely watchable.
Yeah, if anybody should have got it, should have been Sandler.
Oh, he got one too.
Oh, he did. That's great.
For best female and male performance.
We're introduced to the gardener, Felipe, who's got like a bunch of self-deprecating Mexican jokes. There's just a lot of race jokes in this movie that I found very odd. Some directed at the very small Indian kid who I don't even know if he knows the context of some of these jokes, but he's just laughing and smiling along with them. Felipe, the gardener, is mentioning a bunch of stuff about like crossing the border and
eating
tacos and blah blah blah, a bunch of really kind of slightly offensive stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's about 10 minutes of it. This is like a big part of the movie that's just like border crossing jokes and spicy food jokes. With some slapstick, like pepper.
Why have that in the movie? I don't understand. It's just the lowest form of comedy, and they're like not even funny jokes. But
we get some moments out of it. We get when Jill goes full Inglorious Bastards on that grandma's face with the piñata stick.
That grandma looked like the grandma from Coco.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Grandma Coco?
Sorry, Josh.
No, you know that scene where the bear Jew just clubs the Nazi to death in the head, the baseball bat. Just looked like that. And they shove
a bunch of like jalapenos in the grandma's mouth to like revive her or something.
Of course.
She needed jalapenos like Popeye needs spinach or something. That's pretty funny.
What?
They were so proud of the makeup work they did on whoever that was to play the grandma.
It was the same guy who played the gardener.
Okay. Yeah, the filmmakers were into that because there's a lot of close-ups of that. I thought it was just going to be a one-off at the beginning of the scene. Like, we just see her for a moment, but No.
Nothing to be proud of with that makeup. She's pretty horrifying looking, unless that's what they were going for.
Yeah, I did not like looking at her at all.
Just to continue Felipe's kind of plot point here, he has like a real date with Jill. He takes her and he meets his family, and they like play soccer, very stereotypical stuff. But part of it at the end, there's a couple of these reoccurring jokes, but one of them happens here, and it's one of the guys after she scores the winning goal. They're lifting her up on their shoulders, and he like peeks under her dress, and he pays a dude $10 because it is a girl. And like someone mentioned earlier, there's kind of like a sheen where everyone likes Jill except Adam Sandler's character, and like doesn't seem like anyone should. But there's also the sheen that like, yeah, she's actually a woman, but why are there these little moments that are like,
yeah, that was out of place. Like, unless it was just because she was so dominated. Maybe it's just because she dominated soccer so much. Like,
because that was, to me, that was like one of the only, if not the only joke like that, right?
Wasn't there like one or two
I guess
more?
the kid asked her if she liked boys or something like that early on, but
honestly, Josh, I saw it the way Brett saw it. I thought it was that like she was just so dominant at soccer. They were like, "Is that really a woman?" type thing. I didn't even think about it like in an "It's Pat" type joke way, because the movie doesn't really go there at all. I don't think. Other than that,
I don't know. I'm kind of siding with Josh. Nobody like mentions that they're confused by Jill. But yeah, that one scene just kind of stuck out.
Norm Macdonald's reaction kind of hints at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wouldn't he have seen her picture?
It was Craigslist. It was the casual hookups.
But I thought he said anybody who wants to hook up with her, go see Manilow something on whatever. I thought that's what that was, but I guess not.
I don't know, Josh. I think you bring up a good point. Maybe it was left on the cutting room floor of more of those weird gender jokes or whatever. I'm not sure what they were going for because it was just kind of like a one-off there. But
they should have cut that one, and I'm glad they left that one out if they did.
It was just like,
I can't wait for the 4K Blu-ray Steelbook special extended Jack and Jill edition with all of those jokes. Criterion Collection.
Al Pacino will never let that happen.
Every copy must be destroyed.
Yeah. Felipe is really pretty smitten with Jill. He tries to explain his feelings with her in the car, but lo and behold, there's more piss and shit jokes that kind of prevents that from happening. Jill has never had Mexican food growing up in the Bronx. I don't know how that happens. There's lots of Hispanic food in New York City.
So much. There's like 2 million Hispanics in New York City. It's crazy.
Yeah. Unless they're saying that she didn't like venture out. Maybe that's what they're saying.
That doesn't seem like her, though. She's so outgoing.
That's true.
I don't know what they're trying to say with Jill. She's like, she's semi-closeted off because her mom recently died, I guess, and she's living alone by herself. And I guess she's kind of like been isolated for a little bit of time or something. From what we can gather, she's been lonely because her only other family is Jack, who lives on the other side of the country. I don't know. She's never had Mexican food. It doesn't sit right with her. Before Felipe can like express his feelings for Jill, she's like running off to go take a massive dump, and she runs inside. She's pretty upset that Jack, I don't think she had talked to Jack in some time, but like she's upset about the whole Pacino thing. She's upset that she just like messed this thing up with Felipe. She now is kind of being forced away from the family because Jack is trying to go on this trip on a cruise ship without her, and he doesn't really want her to come along. So she's kind of like really feeling left out. And she kind of like forces her way onto this cruise ship along with Jack, and Pacino has to be brought back into the movie. So he is like just infatuated with Jill, and the only way that Jack is going to let Jill on this cruise ship is if he can somehow find a way to bring them together so Jack can get more time with Pacino. And Stevie, how does he manage to do that on this cruise ship?
Part of me, I'm going to get into this later, everybody yes or no's, but instead of trying to convince Jill to do it because he feels like he'd be prostituting his sister out, he decides to dress up like his sister and go on one of the creepiest dates I've ever seen on film. This was just peculiar. It's surprising that Pacino went along with the whole like really gropey, touchy-feely stuff. But I'm guessing that was a different time. This was just weird. I guess I mean, honestly, the one funny payoff joke we got out of it was Jill punching a dude through like 2 walls. like I understand like the adjustment of the boobs. Like that joke actually kind of is funny. It's a funny like fallback joke. But other than that, this was just creepy.
He jumps into the bathroom to like dress up in Jill's clothes. All of them have massive pit stains on her because she's a massive sweaty person.
Another masculine trait.
Yeah. I don't know
if they didn't already hammer that home enough.
Yeah,
remember that scene where she's like weightlifting more than like the steroid guys?
So funny.
She's extremely powerful. But yeah, Jack comes out of the bathroom dressed as Jill, and his plan is to trick Pacino. I don't know if he's planning on ending up having sex with Pacino or something.
Oh, I see what you do.
I don't know how far he's willing to go to seal the deal on this Dunkachino thing. But he gets airlifted off of the cruise ship as Jill by Pacino, and they're like whisked away to a private castle or something on an island. And it's just like very dungeony. I'm pretty sure Pacino is just speaking gibberish to his butler in like Italian or something, not making any sort of legible sense. And the butler is just kind of like nodding along. And it just really escalates after Jill calls Jack. And she's like, "Are you with Pacino?" And she's like, "Keep talking in my voice if you're with Pacino, so I know that like this whole ploy for me to come with you on the cruise was just like a lie." And she's like very upset when he's basically confirms that he's only doing it to get closer to Pacino. And it really kind of pops off there. Like Pacino smashes Jill over the back with the chair for some reason. I don't know why. He gets upset with her. He gets very
he was coming
abusive.
at her. I mean, it was Jack, obviously, but he was running at him with something, right? Something in his hand? Club or I don't know.
But still, they go there to domestic violence for some reason, and they play it off for like laughs because they're from the Bronx, I guess, and that's what they do. But this is Mikey also where they go just full season 8 Game of Thrones, where he takes her by Adam Sandler is taken by helicopter by Al Pacino away to like this private residence, and then when he decides he wants to leave the date, he flies back.
Just taking flights off of a cruise ship.
A lot of helicopters.
I'm taking the next flight off of this cruise ship back to the Bronx, one-way trip. This is kind of where like I got lost in the movie. I was like, that was weird. A lot of stuff just happened very quickly there. But yeah, now it's like New Year's Eve where Jill is back in the Bronx. She's at like restaurant or bar that I guess everybody from their hometown goes to. And she's kind of like surrounded by everybody who's having like fun together, people from like their high school. Everybody is like in a couple or with a group of friends, and she's feeling very left out. She's like sitting alone at a table with a picture of her mom or her parents or something. She's looking very sad. I would have rather just stayed home and moped.
Too sad.
Myself.
I hated that. It was way too sad. I was like depressing. Like that's legitimately really her dead mom. She's out by herself and like she's getting bullied still.
Yeah, it was a bad move by Jill. I think she could have done literally anything else by herself and had more fun. And then in walks in Jack with his family, and he's like, "You're not alone. You're my best friend. You're my twin sister." Blah blah blah. They talk in their weird fucking twin language to like confirm that the bond was never broken. He's just been like kind of so caught up in his own career and life and family that he just kind of put Jill on the back burner. And then we get like a cat fight between David Spade dressed as a woman and
Katie Holmes.
Katie Holmes, yeah.
Well, I guess he settled for second best because I dumped his sorry butt in high school.
David Spade gets thrown through a door by Jill. Then in comes Pacino one last time as like Don Quixote or something with a lance, and he's like about ready to fight the ceiling fan. I guess he set up another date for Jill with Felipe. He's back at Jill's place or something. So he kind of like makes up for all of his creepiness by stopping pursuing after Jill and really just kind of paving the way for Felipe. And
I don't know if you can really like make up for like creepiness like that. Like this isn't like the ancient world where you can like burn a lamb to like rid yourself of your sins. but I will say, like, for a movie watching perspective, like seeing Al Pacino go off this course that seems like it can only end in murder or rape is really nice to see him just be goofy at the end, and like you're kind of let off the hook thinking that something really bad is going to happen. Did anybody else feel that? Like, just good to see him being goofy, not obsessed with Jill anymore.
Yes.
I was wondering how, like, writing wise they were going to end that, and I guess I didn't see that coming, him just being like, fuck it.
She didn't see Pacino like storming into Jack's house, like yelling and screaming, "Where's Jill?" She didn't see any of that shit. She didn't see the obviously creepy private island Epstein dungeon date or whatever. She didn't see any of that shit. That was like the last interaction she had with Pacino. So he's not that bad in Jill's eyes. So I don't know. Who's to say? This movie is not written very well. And then we get the last scene with Felipe there. She like tackles him. She asks him to convert to Judaism, and then she goes, "Just kidding." One more hilarious knee slapper there. And then the very last scene is the Dunkin' Donuts commercial that Jack films with Pacino.
What's my name? Dunkachino. Dunkachino.
It's probably one of the highlights of the movie in terms of its like ridiculousness. I was pretty checked out at that point. I didn't like this movie very much at all. But like it's just like he's rapping, right? Like, and he's talking about like kids, like it's marketing for like kids 7 to 17 will love the Dunkachino. Like I don't know. In my Letterboxd review, I like call this like an abomination of a movie. and someone I don't even know who it was like commented on it. But Dunkachino, I'm like, okay, I don't know. Stevie, you love the Dunkachino. Maybe
I love the Dunkachino.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
I think I love it more for the memes and the Twitter handle that does all different sorts of types of Dunkachinos. I think that's honestly why I love it.
He's dancing. He's rapping. He's got a little 3-piece suit with Dunkin' logos all over it. I mean, he's really going for it here in these last 5 minutes.
The thing is, though, it's like ironic, but it's an actual commercial for Dunkin' Donuts. You know what I mean? Like, it's a literal, actual. They paid to do this. You know what I mean? So it's funny and silly, I guess, but it's also just like the worst of movies at the same time, like so cynical and
anti-capitalism. Pappy.
That's me. Yeah, classic.
The best part is Al Pacino's reaction, which is, I mean, this is probably goes without saying, but the audience's reaction to the movie when he's just like, never show this to anyone, destroy all copies. Like, I had not laughed at this movie until that moment when I laughed out loud, just making that connection.
Takes you out of the movie for a split second and be like, oh, Al Pacino is not a totally insane person in this movie. Well, he is in some ways, but like he is also like, he also recognizes that this Dunkachino thing is just absolutely fucking insane and like very dumb or whatever. So it is pretty funny to see that like commentary on him. So I thought that was like a fairly funny way to end a very bad movie. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about? Any classic clips I may have skipped over in my haste? No? Okay.
I got one. On this ship, there's like a moment that's supposed to be, I think, like endearing and maybe even cool, where Jack and Jill, they do their like double Dutch jump rope, and that is straight out of White Chicks, what they're doing. That's like the White Chick scene where the two white chicks are cool and they do the dance and everyone gathers around and watches, and it even has the same song. So that was just borrowing from that movie in my opinion, and it was awful, and the rope was CG.
Yeah, Mikey, did we mention that Jared, the Subway guy, criminal from Bloomington, is in this, and he's with whores?
I thought that was a funny joke too, actually.
He is with two young women.
But not that young.
Not that young. But Sandler does, well, Jill does like tear him a new one in that scene. So it's almost like, I don't know. She's like, I like the fat Jared better. I like the Jared. I don't know. She's really kind of like, he's lost a bunch of weight at that point, but she's like, I liked the more approachable fat Jared or something better. I don't know. She's like, I don't know. What is even the point of that scene? Like, why is Jared Fogle in this movie? Just because he's done, I guess we're assuming that Jack has done commercials with Jared or something. He's the director.
Wasn't Happy
of
Gilmore
his
also sponsored by Subway?
Holy shit. That's it.
It's a commercial. Yeah, it's another commercial for Subway.
True, but is it also mirroring Otto, the homeless man's arc, with Jared being a piece of shit and then becoming skinny and then everyone figuring out he's still a piece of shit? See that mirrored arc? It's art. It rhymes.
That's some poetry.
I don't think that's it, Josh. Sorry. That's all I have. I don't have anything else. There's obviously no trivia. There's only losers on this episode. Do you guys have anything else you want to say before I toss it to Spoiler Man here?
Yeah, we're not like doing yes or no's and stuff, right?
Yeah, we are.
Oh, well,
Brett, why don't you go first?
Oh, wait, no, that's not what I was saying. No.
Go ahead, Brett.
I was just going to mention someone who hasn't been mentioned in, like, really that much, and I love Katie Holmes. I love her in this movie. this was like, if it goes down to me liking this movie or not, it's a lot of it is because of her. I don't know. I really like her, so I just wanted to say that. Love you, Katie.
She escaped Scientology.
Yeah, but not yet at this point.
Really?
Yeah, they got divorced. They didn't get divorced till 2012, but this is 2011, probably filmed in 2010, which I was actually surprised because he didn't really let her act much. I mean, that's why she wasn't in Dark Knight, I think. And also,
no, she wanted to do a different movie.
That was dumb. Did her and Adam Sandler kiss at all in this movie? Like, embrace?
Not that I remember.
I don't think she was allowed to.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, they were barely close to each other. They were sleeping in the same bed once. But, you know, that's all I got.
Well, here's the thing that I heard about Katie Holmes and The Dark Knight. I heard that on the set of Batman Begins, the one that she was in, that Tom Cruise was a real problem on set.
I believe it.
And that's why she was not asked back to be in The Dark Knight, which was eventually like the downfall of her career, which is probably why she's in Jack and Jill. And probably why she's not embracing or showing any sort of affection towards Adam Sandler. So we can assume that Tom Cruise was probably also on set of this really fucked up weird movie. Just throwing that out there. Just a little extra IMDb trivia that's not going to be on the website.
Yeah, unverified.
Yeah. So, yeah, Brett, why don't you start off with yes or no's?
Why? Why me?
What? Go for it.
Why not you? What does it matter? You're going to have to go anyways.
Just give it the yes, Brett.
I'm with Mikey. It wasn't the worst thing. I actually laughed. I was surprised at how many of the jokes actually worked for me. So, oh man, this is typical me, but I'll give it the softest yes I can give a movie.
That's so embarrassing.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, I probably laughed.
That's so
I probably laughed 30 times, which is 30 more times than I laughed during Evil Dead
30
2.
times?
30?
That didn't
Brett,
say
the
it,
movie is only 90 minutes long.
I didn't say it's just, I'm talking about from small little chuckle to belly laugh.
A mess.
How many
Nice
lifts
chuckle.
is that, or laughs is that, like, per minute or whatever?
That's a very high
It's like
amount.
airplane status.
Okay, 15 times.
Pretty decent ratio. Josh?
Yeah, it's a no. Pretty big no. I'll agree with Brett in that it wasn't as tragic as I thought it would be. I really think there's a decent comedy in here if Jill is played by an actual actress, and there's like that whole meta aspect is taken out. There's actually some funny gags in here. There's some time spent to make some things really funny. The only laugh that I had that we didn't cover was when the little Indian kid says, like, Adam Sandler asks him, like, hey, what are you wearing right now? And he replies, what will you wear? In hell, Dad. And that was pretty decently funny. I wish I had known about the auto thing a little bit before the pod, because I could have come up with some wild conspiracy Jafar is a good guy-esque sort of theory about him, but I'll work on that.
Why is Otto a bad guy?
No, I just think there's more to Otto than the ICs, Stevie.
I see.
And that concludes my yes or no segment.
Oh, Otto does have a pretty good scene where, like, the bird is in his two loaves of bread or whatever, and he's like, the bird flew on my bread or something. He's about to eat a live parakeet or something.
They show that parakeet covered in chocolate later too, which is kind of a funny
And
image.
drinking Jack Daniels.
Absolutely, one animal was harmed in the making of this movie. Stevie?
Man, oh man. Where to begin? This is a hard no, dog. I love Pacino, and I love some Sandler movies, like Uncut Gems, just go with it.
Wexler.
Sandy Wexler, of course. He has some real gems, but this is not one of them. I don't ever want to watch this movie again. And I still have the Dunkachino memes, but this is just the hardest of no's.
I want to change my vote. By the way,
No, Brett, I'm so confused. What movie
It's locked in as a yes.
makes you like
yeah.
a Katie Holmes like ride or die?
Oh, I liked Dawson's Creek.
Dawson's Creek?
That came out. I mean, that was like. It doesn't matter. I'd like to change my vote to a no.
Wait, no.
What?
No.
Stevie, if you're done, we can move on to Corey.
You wouldn't
or
last a
Pap.
day on the creek.
You don't know me.
First of all, before I start my next yes or no, Josh, can you put up like an Instagram poll, Evil Dead 2 or Jack and Jill, and just see which movie?
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be real close.
I'm just curious, but yeah, I'll keep it short and sweet. Just a hard no. Like the basic premise of Adam Sandler's voice as a woman is just super grating to me. It's almost so bad it's good at times because it's so wacky. Like I literally don't know what's gonna happen. Like. Yeah, seeing Norm Macdonald Spider-Maning to the ceiling like catches me off guard, so I laugh. But it's not particularly clever. It's probably like shit tier, lowest tier Sandler. It's not the worst movie by far that we spoiled at all. Like I hate It's Pat way more than this movie. There's a lot
way
of
funnier than this
for sure.
A lot of similarities, like androgyny, confusion, and gender stuff, and sexual aggression. But yeah, this is just a hard no. Not a good movie.
Corey?
Yeah, this is Corey. It's Pat is a fucking masterpiece compared to this movie. No. Masterpiece. At least it has Kyle, who's crazy and is making out with a little doll. A bird saying, "Where were you?" isn't funny. It's like a child wrote this. It's the most surface level jokes you could possibly think of. I tried while I was watching this to think of jokes worse than in this movie, and you can't. Being in a pool with like a jet ski and then like falling out, it's not funny. Anyway, this movie is not funny. I don't like it at all. But the very end, that self-aware Dunkachino shit where he just looks at him and says, "Destroy all copies." That works for me just because everything before it was so bad, and I have the same exact sentiment. Burn this.
Can I? Okay, Corey. When you say surface level jokes, are you talking about falling and saying "my nuts" and then pulling out nuts? And is that a banana in your pocket? Are those the surface level jokes you're talking about?
At least that had a joke at the end. Just pooping is not a joke, Brett.
Debatable.
That wasn't one of the funny parts.
Wow. Really was not expecting Corey to be so off-put by my punishment movie more than I am. Corey, It's Pat is a punishment movie to me more than this movie is. So I'm going to give this a soft no. I'm looking at the 25 worst movies of like 2011, and just like number 25, this is on Complex. I don't know why I clicked on this is the top link, but right off the bat, Twilight Breaking Dawn, I think, is probably a worse movie than this. Or for me, it would probably be a harder watch to get through than this. This is just stupid Sandler. He makes bad movies, but there's usually a couple things you can laugh at throughout, or at least I can. I found absolutely nothing redeeming from It's Pat, and I could actually laugh at jokes in Jack and Jill. So it's a bad movie. It's not great. I think it's insane that Al Pacino was in this. Absolutely fucking insane. He must have got paid a lot of money. Yeah. Just want to say big fuck you to every Josh trivia that we ever do here. It's usually how I end up hosting these things with his garbage trivia master skills.
Yikes.
By the way, I want it to be known, this is a bad movie. There's no arguing that, in my opinion. I just thought there were enough jokes that made me enjoy it more than I hated it. I mean, again, it's undeniably bad, in my opinion.
You gave it a yes.
And I would never say it's not better.
You gave it a yes.
Evil Dead 2 is way better. I just didn't laugh at that. I just didn't like
Brett,
it.
Your yes is locked in.
It's over.
That's
We're
fine.
leaving the podcast now. It's over. You said yes. The podcast is over. I'm talking to Spoiler Man right now.
I didn't want you to think that I thought it was a good movie. It's awful.
It's a yes for you. We're putting up the Instagram poll.
Yeah, it's going in the stats.
We're gonna have all the
yes.
facts.
Yeah.
Lock the game.
Spoiler Man, please take us away. Brett can no longer hijack this pod and try to defend his yes. That was spoilers.
Special thank you to our patrons, Matt Troll,
Wow!
Al Pacino!
Brother Brian,
It's not Al anymore.
Druid King,
It's Dunk.
Nick,
Don't mind if I do. What's my name? Dunkachino. It's a whole new game. Dunkachino.
If you'd like to request an episode, hear your name read by Spoiler Man, or even just help us make podcasts, please check us out on patreon.com/spoilerspodcast.
With hazelnut too. Caramel swirl. I know it was you. Everyone wants my Dunkachino. Can't get enough of my Dunkachino. Kids from 7 to 17 lining up for my Dunkachino. What's my name? Dunkachino. Dunkachino.
That was Spoilers.